Hello and welcome back. As this is a Hopkins University Library off week, I'm going to start with my borrowing from the University of Baltimore. This is a film called Breaking Upwards, and I have not seen it yet, but it's about a couple who decides that they are just no longer really suited to each other, but they want to remain friends, and so they want to have a harmonious breakup. And it's about how they go about trying to engineer that. And I was interested in this because it looks like a real harkening back to those great kind of indie, quirky, romantic comedies that were, I guess, more popular in the 90s. Although maybe they're still around today and I'm just not watching as many. But it sounded cute. And then from Stevenson University, I got one that probably a lot of you have already seen. I actually have never seen it. I got A Christmas Story. This is a film based on Gene Shepard's memoir of coming of age with his quirky family in the Midwest. And I know it just has this huge cult following. There's one cable channel that shows it 24 hours for at least on Christmas. I don't know if it's like the whole week of Christmas. I don't really remember. But I figured if it's that popular, it's probably about time for me to see it, and it's supposed to be funny. And then from the Enoch Pratt Free Library, the Sights and Sounds Department, first I got Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring. And I've been wanting to see this for some time. It's the story of an older monk who is training a young boy to follow in his footsteps, and they live on a floating monastery, or it's on an island and it's floating around. And I've seen this just yesterday, and it really was not what I was expecting. I guess probably I should have been warned first off when my favorite Sights and Sounds librarian said, "Oh, I haven't seen that, but that director is kind of the bad boy of Korean cinema." And I was expecting something, I guess, a little nicer, and I don't mean nice like smarmy nice, I guess just more quiet and pastoral. But this definitely, I don't know, had some kind of plot-heavy elements to it. It was, there's a romance, there are gangsters, and then it takes this really enigmatic, kind of disturbing turn towards the end. I mean, not disturbing like gory or anything, but just really kind of, where did that, what, just like that. It reminded me a little bit, actually, of one of the stories in Kobayashi's Kwaidan, which I talked about a few weeks ago. So I thought it was a really interesting film, and I watched it all the way through. I don't regret having seen it, but it really was not quite what I expected and not necessarily what I was in the mood for. But if you're looking for something interesting, I would definitely recommend this. And, oh, the director's name, in case you're curious, the bad boy of Korean cinema is Kim Ki-duk. So if you're looking for a bad boy of Korean cinema, I guess check out Kim Ki-duk. And then, now for something completely different, I got Donkey Skin, which is directed by my pal Jacques Demy, whom I've talked about before in these movie hauls. This is one of his lesser-known works, and it's based on one of the creepier traditional fairy tales, although if you're a fairy tale aficionado, you probably know that a lot of them are kind of creepy. But this one is about a king whose wife dies, and on her deathbed she makes him swear that when he marries, he will marry only someone who is as beautiful as she is. Which, I mean, that's just weird in the first place, but anyway, he then is searching the land for a woman as beautiful as his dead wife, and it turns out the only woman as beautiful as his dead wife is their daughter. So he decides he's going to marry his own daughter, and she runs away, and it's about what befalls her after she runs away. And it's really interesting seeing Jacques Demy's take on a classic fairy tale. It's just, as with every Demy film, it's just beautiful to look at. And it really is like when you're a little kid and you're reading a fairy tale and you're imagining just these gorgeous scenes with vibrant colors, and it really is just like stepping into that world. It's beautifully done, And it's to me, so of course it's a little bit of a musical. There are some songs. I'm a little more than halfway through it at this point, but I really like it, and even though it's maybe not typical to me, I would definitely recommend it. And last but not least, I was prowling around the British imports section, and I was planning to get some kind of a Masterpiece Theatre miniseries or something like that. But I was just feeling so indecisive. I was picking things up, putting them down, and it was really getting time for me to get back to the office. So I just grabbed The Snapper, because it's directed by Stephen Frears, who did a few of my favorite films, or actually, I mean, he's done a lot of really great films. Just off the top of my head, he did The Grifters, The Queen, The Hit, Dangerous Liaisons, Mary Riley, although I may be the only person in the world who liked the film adaptation of Mary Riley. But I really like his work. This seems completely different from, I think, all the ones I mentioned. It's either the third or the second in a series of films based on Roddy Doyle's Barrytown trilogy. The first one was The Commitments, which was filmed by Alan Parker. And then the other one is The Van, which was also directed by Stephen Frears. And those two I actually taped off television a while ago, have not yet gotten around to seeing. But anyway, The Snapper is a comedy about a young woman who gets pregnant out of wedlock and refuses to reveal who the baby's father is. And it's about all the turmoil that comes about because of that. I have not seen it yet, but given Stephen Frears' track record, I'm really looking forward to it. And if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me for my next video.